you're fine. You're fine. You got it. I asked, I asked both Ben and Jeff, I'm like, hey, what, I'm kind of intimidated about this audit cert. What should I do to be preparing for this? And they're like, everything you need to know to pass that, you're fine. And I'm like, okay, so it sounds good. I trust them. So
that's
cool.
something I do a lot. And I think a lot of people who are going through the process of personal development, you don't need to know shit. Just trust your coach. I can't tell you how many times I've gone to do something and I'm like, I don't know if I'm the right person. Am I ready? What? And then I trust my coach, because he sees it for what it is. And that's awesome that you put faith in your coaches.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Well, hey, ladies and gentlemen, we've already started, by the way.
Hey.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is KO Flows. But that's not your real name.
Nope.
I was kind of thinking about this the other day. All my friends have superhero names. Like, I remember being a little kid, and I don't know if you played this game, but, it's like an imaginary game you'd play with all your friends where you would pick a character, and after you, kind of figured out what you were going to play, everybody would pick their name for the day. I would always call myself Ace. Like, that was my go-to superhero name when playing. And I miss that. I mean, that was so neat. Like, I would turn into a ninja immediately because I changed my name. And not only that, but everybody who was playing with me, they called you by your superhero name. And, that's kind of the reality of things, because your story, the one that we're about to unpack, it really is a hero's journey. And if it is a hero's journey, then it needs to be about a hero or a heroine. How do I say it? I don't want to get it mixed up. Is that got it right? Okay. Heroine. Okay. So,
you can say heroin on a podcast. You're good.
Yeah. It's just it's just the two. Anyways, actually, I was at, I haven't really shared this with anybody, but I was at Six Flags with Serena, and we were at the Wonder Woman ride, and they have this goddess statue of Wonder Woman, and it reminded me of you.
Oh, nice.
Yes. So, Kelley, tell me about when you first met the Mace.
It's funny. It's a funny story. I met the Mace. It was introduced to me by my boyfriend, Tom. He is a very athletic, strong individual, and he really gets on a niche and just pounds it into him and gets really good at it. And then all of a sudden one day I saw these huge boxes on the front doorstep, and I'm like, what is this? And then all of a sudden Tom's just standing in front of the TV swinging a mace, and I'm like, what now? Come on, man. What is this? Seriously? And then a couple days into it, I'm just like, so that's really pretty. So that's kind of cool. And I got way too curious. So I picked it up and I tried it. And Tom showed me a little bit about what he knew, and I just wanted to check it out. So it was really a brief introduction, and that's just how I was introduced to it, was by Tom.
So, okay, so I'm assuming, since you said, hey, I came home, there were some packages there for Tom. You and Tom lived together?
Mm-hmm.
Right on. And then he's swinging mace in front of a TV. Do you remember what was on?
Oh, no, but probably The Office. Something.
Something leisurely. He was literally just instead of sitting on the couch, he was swinging his mace in front of the TV. He wasn't watching an educational thing. He wasn't on YouTube. He was just I'm swinging. And then you said something, you said two things. One, you said that you were curious. All right. And then the thing you said before that is you saw that it was pretty. Mm-hmm. And, maybe those two things went in line with each other. I know for a lot of my female coaches and female clients, they really adhere to when they first met the mace, they said it was pretty. Maybe can you speak a little bit about that? I know you've got a little bit of background in athletics. I did a deep dive on you, and I didn't pull up any of these pictures, but I did find a couple pictures where you had like maybe ran a marathon or half marathon, and you have fucking abs of steel, and so you have a little bit of a history with being an athlete. Do you
Yeah.
often identify athletic movements as pretty?
Um, no, I never did. I really never did. I got into running first, and then I got into lifting weights. And those were my two big things. I found something to occupy my time, during a hard time. And I went to athletics. I used to play basketball when I was a kid. I was in dance and volleyball. I always had some sort of movement in my life. And then I moved to Colorado from North Dakota. And it was a very difficult transition. And I accidentally tweaked my knee on my way, parkouring, on my way to Comic-Con with Tom.
Oh
So
my
I,
God, hold on.
so,
That's the best. That's like, we should just stay there for a while. I twisted my
right.
ankle on the way to Comic-Con.
Yeah, my knee, actually.
Yeah, I
It
mean,
was it was my knee. So I twisted it. So I was down and out for a while. And then I just my athletics kind of got put on the back burner because I was more career focused. And I couldn't find anything. And I couldn't find anything that gave me that feeling of wanting to move and just wanting to get exercise and wanting to get strong again. That feeling of strength was something that I really enjoyed when I had it. And then when I got injured, I lost it. And I couldn't find the motivation or the curiosity or the appeal to running or lifting weights because I couldn't run because my knee was tweaked and
got
lifting
it.
weights just didn't appeal to me. And then I saw the mace and I was like, and then I got very curious about that. And it was something I'd never seen before. And then Tom showed me a few videos. I think Frankenlegs was the first person. I love Zach. I saw him first, and then I saw you, and I'm just like, yeah, I think I'm gonna check this out.
Can I
Um,
share that moment of checkout with our audience?
yeah,
All right, good. I found a couple of videos, and so usually when I do these, I keep the videos or the information very minimal, and I just share with my guests. But there were so many good things to share. Oh, my clutter is up. Okay, Kelley, can I ask you a question?
yes,
I'm serious about this. Okay.
yeah.
All right, it's not opening, so technical difficulties. All right, we might have to go about this another way. I'm usually an expert at this by now. This is like my third episode. All right, I think I could do it from here. No, it won't let me. That's okay. Here we go. Do you remember this? And what do you remember about this particular? I know this is a video, all right? It's a 40-second video. Um, so I know it's just in a picture. We haven't watched it yet, but can you maybe describe what's about to happen?
That is my first time videoing myself doing 360s with the steel mace. That's my first video ever.
Yeah, so that was what I found. I found now you said this is your first videoed one, so you had definitely put in some work prior to this. What inspired you to film your 360s and put them out there?
The inspiration came from seeing Tom do it and seeing the community do it.
Mm-hmm.
And I could tell I didn't feel like you guys looked. So I wanted to see what I looked like so that I could try something different.
You know, it's the process, and I've come to discover this about a lot of people. We don't have coaches. You know, there's not a lot of coaches, especially when you and Tom picked up the mace. Tom was just swinging the mace in front of like a Seinfeld episode or an Office episode. He didn't even have like the online courses that are out there. And so for me, I needed to videotape so I could, you know, critique myself and work on it. And honestly, I felt so cool. I felt so powerful. I felt so amazing that I put it out there. You know, I wanted to inspire somebody. I thought, hey, maybe somebody else will pick up a mace. And without any further ado, Kelley's first 360s. Ah, yes. There's no sound in this one. How's that coming through for you? Can you see it okay?
Yeah.
You know what's funny? All the educations I've been to, the 360 is the last thing anybody teaches, even in my curriculum. It's the last move I teach. I teach a bunch of flows, but it's the last move I teach. The Onnit Academy, it's the last move they teach, but it tends to be the thing that people want to do first. And you got to watch that. You got to take a little trip down memory lane. What did you think?
That Kelley has no idea what that's going to do for her. And it's so cool.
Wow.
It's so cool. It's so cool to see that and to see the curiosity in my eye and to see what it's done in the next year, because this month has been a year since me actually actively practicing mace movement. So it's my year month.
Only a year.
Mm-hmm.
Get the fuck out of here. That's so cool.
Yeah.
I mean, don't go anywhere, but like, what a cool thing.
Yeah.
You know, and a lot of people, when they look at their old workout video, this is very unique. And this is one of the things that we love about the mace community is once you get past the surface level, you know, there's some beautiful things happening. It's fun. It's cool. It's exciting. But once you continue to live that life for a little bit, you start to notice that there's things underneath. And for a great example, you just said, you didn't say Kelley needs to hold her footing. That mace is moving her around. Hey, there's a glitch in her swing. You said that girl has no idea the ride she's about to go down. And so let's keep going down the rabbit hole. And next I have, so you kind of got into the mace a little bit, I think.
Oh, I got into it.
Now, is it true or false? Okay. Are you super good at the mace because you're this teacup over here? Is that you? Is that true or false?
That would be a true statement, yes. And as you can see with the positioning of the spout, that
Challenger's control.
Yes, exactly.
Yes.
That I've been on point as Mrs. Potts in The Beauty and the Beast for quite a long time.
This is great. Like I love telling people, you know, I say I'm just a pirate, you know, traveling the stars at night, you know, as long as I can see a star, I know I'm headed in the right direction. Because I don't believe in coincidences. I believe in purpose. And you have a really good connection with one of our friends, built by Ben Walker. And he was also in The Beauty and the Beast. And
Yeah.
you were in The Beauty and the Beast. And he's your friend, he's your coach, he's your mentor. And not only you guys have badass mace practice, but you guys were both beauties and the beasts.
Yeah, I adore Ben. He's just the easiest person to learn from and talk to, and he is Captain America, hands down.
And so we saw your first. You're a bit of a performer, is what it looks like when I dug into your history. And it's neat to see, right? Like, I was in drama, and I miss like being theatric. I don't get to do it anymore. And here you are a little bit later. And do you know what's about to happen in this video?
Yes, I do.
Holy shit! Let's get it. What is it?
I'm about to do one of my first flows ever and feel like a complete badass. I even took my top off about it. So I was feeling that flow.
This is super important. Okay, let me get out of the share. This is super important. Okay, because as I was looking at your history, you had a couple pictures up there where you were real proud, like, hey, check out my midsection, I got these abs. And it wasn't until this photo that, and I'll be honest, your abs back then versus this video, they're two totally different things. And however, you said something very powerful. You said, I felt so badass that I bared it, and you did flow in this video. This was your first. Let me see if I can find it again. I lost it. I build this anticipation up and then I just crush it. There it is. Your first ever flow video. I lost it. Ah, there it is. I love to do this whenever I bring people on. I'll download a couple videos and, nothing fancy. I just use a repost app, but I get to go through everything second by second. I mean, I really get to go and click on this little bar and move it to 1 second and 2 and 3. And just kind of watch each subtle thing that happens. I notice the pinky lifting off. Usually the pinky lifts off when it's going to pressure down. So usually that happens before a swing. Kelley likes to tap her mace a little bit like this. I like to tap my feet. It's just a neat little thing to see. And you keep your eyes on the globe. You're not looking at the TV, but you're present with it. And you set your balance, block, dump, pull. You grab the top, and this is the part, right? There's a difference between a lateral lunge that is done in motion and then what you're doing here. You take control of the mace, it's right next to you, and you press it straight down rather than kind of rainbow it over. And very few people do this, but it is a huge difference in a lateral lunge. That line that you make from elbow to knuckle all the way down, picture perfect. And again, keep your eyes on the globe. I have to notice when I quit looking through the flow gaze, it's like this drunk, like I'm there, but I'm not there thing. When I look at my globe, it makes me so fucking happy or feel powerful. And there it is again. Boom. I love it.
I love it.
And so that one was unique to me for a couple of reasons, but you added music. Maybe it was just in the background, but that was the thing when you saw Frankenlegs moving and maybe myself, you said, well, maybe I'm not moving like them, but that's where I'm going. And you found yourself there. And that was relatively soon after just doing 360s.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, music's a huge part of my life, and it always has been, especially matching it with movement. it puts you there. It helps put me there. I am a person who, whatever I start doing, I try as hard as I can to get really good at it. So sometimes it's really easy to overthink something. So adding some tunes with it can take away that element of trying so hard that you're going to screw it up. So matching that with it, I was just like, I could feel the power in that. It was just really, I was vibing with it. It was just so cool to feel that with something that was so foreign but felt so close when I had just been introduced to it. It was so cool.
It's hard to describe.
It is.
It's this very meaningful thing that we don't exactly comprehend, and we build this neat relationship with our mace. And I would say the way that you looked at your mace, that there was definitely a connection being built. And like you said in the first video, she doesn't know yet.
Mm-mm.
And so I did have a question from the audience, and the audience would like to know what kind of music you do like to listen to when you flow.
So I not a genre particular, but I like funky beats. So right. I really like funky beats, or I've been liking synthwave and stuff that you can kind of, Bass Nectar has been awesome. Really Incubus, Foo Fighters, Red Hot Chili Peppers, just stuff like from high school, and then mixed in with the like hippie vibe element where it's like jam bandy, and you can just get really like, it just goes off on a drum solo, and I'm gonna go off on this drum solo, and it's just so fun. So it's, as long as it's got like a really sweet beat to it, I'm down. I'm just not much of a country person, so I haven't found my flow in country, but yeah, those are my tunes.
Man, yeah, I'm with you in that. Like, if it's got a good beat, good, and it takes you on a journey, so your flow can speed up, slow down, hold its ground, go for the drum solo, go for the guitar solo. I get trapped in those things, and then I end up really liking the song. Has it ever happened to you that, like, I don't have a clue what the words are? I just go along with the beat, and then one day I catch myself singing the words, and I'm like, what am I listening to? I have no host to smack.
Right.
All right, yeah. So adding flows to music. All right, let's go on another one. And I would say, looking at your mace career, that, well, let's see if I can get this off. Sharing is paused. And I hope you can't see any of this.
Nope.
Good. So many videos of yours to share. Here it is. This is the reality. Nah, I just want to get really good at it, and you catch yourself with random things in your hands. And here's Kelley killing it in pajamas with a broom. What happened here?
Thank you, Mom. My mother. Thank you to my mother. I'd like to thank her for this video. She followed me around whenever I lunged, which was really cute of her. I had to move, and I went and visited up in North Dakota, and I didn't check a mace, and what I was doing was 5 minutes every day. So, and yeah. So what I was doing is Tom told me, because getting back home from work, I was very drained. I get tired really easily. And Tom would always just tell me, Kelley, all you need to do is 5 minutes. If you do, it's just all about consistency. So 5 minutes every day. So I downloaded an app, which was my Steel Mace Movement app, and I I made sure that I touched my mace or did some sort of mace movement for 5 minutes every day. And if I did more than that, cool. But if I dropped it right when it went on 5 minutes, boom, I'm dropping it because I ain't feeling it. But I still put in my practice for that day. And I wasn't able to ignite any negative self-talk by saying that I didn't do my movement. So I was at my parents' place and I had to do my movement. I wasn't going to break my streak. So I said, Mom, can you grab my camera? I'm going to hold myself accountable. I'm going to grab the broom. Let's do it.
What did your mom think?
She would support me in whatever the heck I do. So she's like, sure, that sounds great. And I'm happy to do that. She didn't think, I've always been a goofball my entire life. So it really wasn't that strange for her to do that for me.
Another awesome thing, you know. Yeah, every time I end up cleaning, like I'm cleaning the kitchen, I end up sweeping a little bit. I end up doing something with the broom. I'm putting away pots and pans. I end up doing a meal. I mean, it's like it's nonstop. But the thing about it being nonstop is these things happen.
Mm.
Kelley, after a while, you got pretty fucking good.
Thank you. I'll take it.
Well, you have to take compliments.
I know. I'll say
It's
that's
like
right.
you have to force it. Like me, I'll give the
Yeah.
shirt off my back. I have. I'm an endless giver of love, but it's hard for me to receive love. So I just put myself in a situation where, and that's a lot of the reason why I wear these fang necklaces. All right. I just have this neat thing whenever somebody tells me, gives me gratitude. I say thank you. So it's kind of like my little acceptance thing. But here you are, and you are in a Steel Mace Warrior shirt. We're gonna kick this flow on. It's 30 or 39 seconds of you kicking ass. This is what happens when you practice at least 5 minutes a day, even with a broom. Oh. So good. I mean, like, there's some high level shit going on there. I mean, there's some high level stuff going on. All right. So you got this beautiful scoop of water. You go into the bow and arrow, and this is a little difficult to do, but you hold the arrow with the top hand and you draw back on the handle and you hold this perfect line. And you actually sit a little lower into your lunge when you catch, right? Usually the bottom of the lunge is when the mace is all the way under, but when you get the mace up higher, you sink just a little bit more. And right after that, you hit the lateral lunge. Right after that, switch sides. And your lateral lunge is the shit, just like we said. But now you tend to lean in on your left side. Now you're not, you're vertical. Mm-hmm. And that gives you a lot more access to hit those bow and arrows outside. Beautiful work here. And you were moving at a really good pace. And even though you were moving at a really good pace, I can tell when you take your hands off the mace, that beautiful mace music disappears. The hand sliding down the mace. Shh. The whole time, no matter how fast you're moving, you have a smooth connection. Look at that. Some people look straight. Boom. Not Kelley. And then, yeah, fuck this, right? Top switch into a mill. And look, you stare at it the whole time. You hold your ground, you scoop water, you drop again, just a little bit lower. Boom. You go up into your swing. You do this one a couple times. You find the thumbs down up top. This lunge, your lateral lunge is good, but your back step, it might be a little better. All right. You're standing on train tracks. You take your back leg back. This is difficult to do. what tends to happen is people lean over the weighted side just because that's where all the weight is. So to pull yourself over to this kickstand leg, it's difficult to do. It takes work. And you can see that you're pulling your chin back. So you have a beautiful spine lined up with all this other great work that's going on. And then this is where you really hit the ceiling. You hit the gypsy uppercut, which is the one leg, and then you go into the dragon punch, and then you do a drop in 360 and pull into a regular 360. And then you lay down the lateral lunge. We're just going to watch the lateral lunge. You got real good, Kelley. You got good.
Thank you. I remember that day well. I remember that day.
Did you have some education by that time?
Yeah, I believe I did. It was your first set with Summer and Serena.
Dope.
Yeah.
So you had some education.
I had some, and I used it, and I couldn't believe how hard it was to do lunges with the mace.
Huh.
Step 1 through 4. I couldn't figure out why that was so difficult. I figured it out eventually, but I remember exactly how I felt that day. And in one of those 360s, one of the first ones, I smacked myself in the ass really, really hard with that 360. And I'm just like, screw it. And I just like kept going because I had such a bad day that day. I had like the worst day ever. And I'm just like, screw it. I'm not even going to talk to anybody. I'm going to go in the garage and I'm going to swing my mace. And that came out. And I just couldn't even believe that. It was so cool that was kind of my first experience with the mace with like some serious emotion, it was
a little bit of healing maybe.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, absolutely. I felt great afterwards.
The outfit kind of says I had a bad day. It's like all black, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't know how you went, what like the mind frame is, you just went into the thing. Hey, I'm going to put my 5 minutes in. I love it when I have that experience that whatever I'm dealing with, I get to deal with it in that moment. And when I set my mace down, I'm free. And, I'll speak to that a little bit. And, tell me what you think. Oftentimes when I'm faced with adversity, whether it's a bill, depression, anxiety, whatever it is, if I can throw some creativity at it, it tends to go away. How do you feel about that?
I agree. Fully. I use it all the time now. I just use. I went home to North Dakota this last weekend. That I ran. I got in the door. I pat my dog on the head and I ran to my mace and I just did some 360s because I was just exhausted from emotions and just kind of a tough weekend. And I was just like, I need my mace. And I just ran to it and I just put it there and it holds it for me.
So you have a mace up there in North Dakota?
No, but no, I ran to it back when I got home from North Dakota.
Oh, gotcha. Okay, I got you. I was like, hey, I'm just envisioning you having like stockades of mace everywhere.
I have them in almost every single room because Tom and I have so many of them. They're almost in every single room, but I told my dad I would send one up to North Dakota and he didn't care, but they're actually going to move down here, so I don't need to send one there anymore because I'm not going to go there. So, yeah.
Your plan worked out.
It did.
I saw you swinging a broom in the kitchen, and she said we're moving to Kelley and Tom. And I picked this particular flow. It means a lot to me. Do you remember this flow?
Yeah, this one touches my heart a lot. It was 2 days before my car accident. So it was right when I felt started really getting connected to the mace. And it was just the first time I really started feeling that connection with it. And this was 2 days before, either the day before or 2 days before I got my car accident.
And Are you wearing jeans?
Heck yeah, I'm wearing jeans.
You know,
That's my living room mace
we
right
saw
there.
you in your go to war clothes, the black outfit, right?
Yeah.
We saw you in your pajamas at your mom's, right? We saw you in some workout gear, and now we see you in like, I just got home. Where's my mace?
Mhm.
And and I did pick this video out, but for the exact reason you did, or for the exact reason you stated, you know. So this is you moving before you got in your accident, and we'll talk about that in just a second. But let's take some time to watch Kelley do her thing. Not a lot of space here, but Kelley can swing a 360, hit her lunge with her tall stance. I love it how it's from the side so you can see where the hips are. One of the things I learned from our friend, oh my gosh. All right. One of the things I learned from our friend Jamie is the cue dragons don't bow. And in a lunge, in any lunge that you're leaning forward, I just love telling people, hey, we don't bow and still mace flow. Oh, you did it on both sides. You did. In the comments, Tom had wrote, he was very proud of you that you did that flow on both sides. And I haven't talked too much about Tom, but I picture Tom standing still, swinging a big heavy mace in front of the TV, um, or in the layer, the dark side layer, uh, right? Not in the rebel land. Okay, uh, but does Tom swing a different style of mace than you at the time?
Yeah, and he still does.
So
Yeah.
even though he swung a different style of mace, like he was just a big supporter of you doing your thing. And I know there's a lot of like you guys going back and forth having fun. Um, but it's neat that you guys both have steel mace and you guys get to go on your own journeys. And but Tom still supported you pretty heavily, even though you guys swung differently.
Yeah.
It's the unity.
Yeah.
You guys been together for a while.
Yeah. 5.5 years now.
5.5 years. Oh man,
Yeah.
I could have found a maybe a more updated one, but
That's all right. It's all good.
I love this. Happy anniversary. It says, hey, you know, 4 years ago. Um, I love Tom, man. I'm just a big fan of Tom. And I remember when I first met you guys, it was at the Flow State Summit. Is that right?
You met me first there. You met him in at Bella Strength with Isak at that.
Oh, did I meet him before I met you?
Yeah.
Oh, he was
And,
at, that's right. He was at the Bella Strength thing. So this is, um,
but we met together. You met Tom and I mean, you
gotcha.
saw Tom and I met me at
That
what
was
you
the
call it,
first
close.
time.
Mm-hmm.
How cute. 4 years. And then the next thing that I would share, and Kelley, thank you so much for being open and having this conversation.
Yeah.
There were a couple more posts in between um, the last post we just watched, of you flowing in your jeans, and this post I'm going to bring up. But they were all throwbacks. You know, you had spent some time in a hospital bed, and you were in a pretty severe accident. That's the car. You know, when I look at that, Kelley, I say to myself, the people who were in that car were so lucky. They're okay. That collision, looking at it, hey, the doors look okay, but there was some real damage done. You know, when I look at the car, I don't realize the toll it took on you. You know, I got to go through this process just a little bit with you. And this beautiful man right here, that's Tom.
Yeah.
and looks like he has made a mace.
Yeah, he is so cool. So yeah, he made that. He went to the local library and made his own little mold for it out of a laser cutter and made that.
What did he make that for you?
Yeah, he initially made that for me, and we're gonna make some more of those. We poured those the night before our accident, so it was a bummer. But
So
yeah,
you never necessarily got to swing that at the time. You can't really. I don't know if anybody or has seen, but at the very bottom of the frame here, that's your foot, and then to the
yep,
left of that, that is the walker. Correct? Yeah,
that is the walker.
man. And there's Tom, big beautiful Tom,
Yeah,
showing off the Gata. And to me, when I look at that, I really see Tom saying, "You're going to swing this one day. You will get better."
okay.
And we looked at the car accident and we saw the mangled car, but that's your knee.
That is my right knee.
Kelley, when I saw the accident, I didn't realize how bad it was. And then I saw this and I realized, the totality of the accident. You know, take us through this a little bit, right? You're in love, you've got a great partner, you've got this good career, you fall in love with fitness again, and then, in the blink of an eye, you're in a hospital bed, you can't move, you've got titanium and plates and screws in your knee. What's that like?
Um, it's a lot. It's a lot. It's um, as soon as I found out that I was going to be okay, there was a long period of time that evening when that accident happened that I didn't know if I was going to be okay. That was on one of the deadliest interstates Colorado has. And it was an icy night when it happened. But as soon as I knew I was going to be okay, like alive wise, then I was like, shoot, I can't swing my mace, you know? But I never actually, the thought of me never walking again, I knew I broke my leg. Right when I tried to walk, I knew I broke my leg. Um, it never, I just would never accept that I wouldn't walk again or that I wouldn't exercise or swing my mace. It never crossed my mind once that that would never happen again. And it's because um, the support of Tom, and he consistently tells me how strong I am physically and mentally, and he tells me every day how awesome I am, and I believe it. So when that happened, yes, it was hard. I'm not belittling it by any means. And I knew right then and there when the doctor said, this is something that's, you may not be able to go to work for 4 to 6 months. I was just like, holy crap, you may not be able to walk for 4 to 6 months. I was just like in shell shock about it. But um, I just, me being alive was the most important thing. Tom being alive, Willow was in the car too, our pup. Us all being okay was number one. So that was the biggest thing. I just, and as soon as I was starting to feel a little questionable about my practice and my movement, I'm not sure, or when am I going to get this? Oh man, this is going to be the longest road. That's when you reached out to me. So um, when you reached out to me, I that was something that really meant the world to me, and I knew that I was going to give it everything that I had mentally to, like you said, Kelley, you cannot stop what you started, and that was just something that was I never realized I started something until you said that. And I am like, yeah, you're right. I started something. So I got to keep doing this. And Tom said, yeah, and I'm going to make sure that you keep doing this. And that certification and that community, that development of that community, and Tom being able to help me through that certification day in and day out, being able to go to those online uh, meetings with you guys while I can't walk it was everything to me. It really kept me from going to a bad place. So I envisioned me moving. I envisioned you moving. I practiced my steel mace for 5 minutes every day with a broken leg for months without having to move.
So even when you were down, I'm sure there was some time, right? You're at the hospital, there's some medication to keep you out of pain. You get home, maybe there was some time that you didn't have that 5 minutes, that you could pick up something and move it around. And that, was for the good, as we'll come to find out. But you did eventually get to a point where you're at least putting some thought into at least having your practice. And this guy said was along your side on the journey. So just to kind of give everybody at home a little bit of a background, there was a while where I was mentoring students in Steel Mace Flow to be Steel Mace Flow coaches. And we had, I mean, I care about you and Tom, and I care about anybody who swings with flow. Y'all are my people. And I just try and do whatever I can for the Mace community, understanding that, I went through some hell, and this mace helped save me. So, I always think, man, if somebody's going through something, I just wish they had a mace, and so you had gone through your accident, and I wasn't the only person to reach out to you. I think ESIC reached out to you. The Onnit Academy, John Wolf reached out to you. But there was a big outpour, and, people just wanted you to be okay. And, I think the conversation we had was like, hey, you're going to be sitting down anyways. You might as well sit, be in company with us. And I do remember telling you, you have to finish what you started. And even though you couldn't stand, this is you. And there's Tom again. And might I say, he is in very good form. But this is the homework that you were supposed to do. This is a beautiful story. Just unraveling it now. You didn't get to be a student. You started out being a coach with Tom. Yeah. You were taking in the information, but one thing we talked about, speed of implementation, teach it right away. All the other students taught to themselves. You couldn't walk. You had to have Tom be your legs. And so you were a coach immediately. Kelley, we're going to show another picture. This one's a little graphic. The black and white, Kelley, the screws didn't do it justice, right? Seeing the car, seeing the x-ray. And Kelley, you've got like pieces of metal stuck into your leg that are holding it together. Am I right?
Yeah, that's kind of called an external fixating device. So the ER doc it was such a bad break. It's called the stage 4 tibial plateau break, meaning both condyles of my tibia were completely broken all the way through, and the tibial plateau is decompressed. So my femur beat the crap out of my tibia. Mm-hmm. And the ER doc is like, I'm not touching you. You need a specialist. You need a trauma doctor. So they screwed in four rods, so that my knee would be so that my leg would be my knee would be held together, and then you'd actually lift up on those bars to move your leg. It was gross. Try going to the bathroom
bars with that. To move your. Oh my god.
Yeah. So yeah.
Oh my gosh. So how long did you have that on, Kelley?
Oh, a week. It was a week.
Man.
Yeah.
That blows my mind. Even I know that we've been through it, and I know where you're at now, but you're not there anymore.
No, the bathroom was the most difficult, I would say, but I managed. You just go on Amazon and buy the hospital underwear, and things are a lot easier. There's a tip for you. But
Hey,
yeah, it was tough.
hey,
It was
shout out for the tip, coach.
Yeah, it was really tough. It was really, really tough. And this is a cool video.
Can you see it?
Yeah, I can see my upper half.
I can't see anything.
Yeah, I can
There
only
it
see my
is.
upper half.
There it is. That's not it. And so you kind of sit bedside. I know you had some other things going on, but you and Tom would get together every now and then. You do some mace homework, and sooner or later, this thing happened. What's this video about?
Um, these are my first steps. My doctor was incredibly shocked about how quickly I healed. He is an incredible physician, and he basically said, "I've never seen anybody heal like you. Go ahead, you can start walking." I started walking about 5 weeks before somebody should, even maybe a couple months before somebody should with this kind of injury. And he said that it's time for me to
Whoa,
heal.
hands off. Get it.
Yeah. So I hadn't.
Ah.
Mhm. So I hadn't been walking for a couple months. Yeah, shit-eating grin right there. That's him telling me that I'm overdoing it. So
Look at that smile.
yeah, yeah,
Ah, it's so good.
yeah.
I gotta thank Tom. Tom really helped me out with getting these videos out there, and shout out to Tom. And after you walked for a while, sometime in that process, you got your Still Mace Flow certification.
Hmm.
You're a Still Mace Flow coach.
I am. I
Uh,
am.
Well, you have to have a class in order to be a Still Mace Flow coach. Is that no? That's not true. But
Mm-mm.
you did make a class.
Yeah.
Tell me about that.
Yeah, so I didn't really know I was a coach until you said I was. In one of our meetings, you asked a question, and I said, "When I'm a coach," and you go, "No, no, Kelley, you are a coach." And I didn't realize that until you told me that. And right then and there, I go, "Yeah, I am." So I knew I wanted to form a class just in the park. I live in beautiful Denver, Colorado. So I'm like, I want to go ahead and get people together. At first, people would kind of not make fun of me, but like, "Kelley, what the heck you doing with that thing?" And then same thing. It was a ripple effect. They got curious, wanted to check it out, and I go, "Come to my class in the park." So I wrote down two goals. My first goal was to have my first Steel Mace Flow class by April 6th of 2019. And then my second one was to work as a teach Steel Mace Flow in a gym in of April of 2020. So
That's you knocking it out of the park because as you know, you got to accomplish those goals. And
yeah.
this, I saw the park video, right? The first time you taught at the park.
Mm-hmm.
This is real special to me. You're in Tom's space.
Cave of Steel.
The
Yes.
cave. You're in the cave of dark still.
Yes. Yes.
Well, I just love that. I talk to whenever I mentor people in the Still Mace community, I always tell them, you can't do this alone. You got to do it with somebody. You got to build community. And, you and Tom are very lucky to have each other. And it's great to see you guys share space and share mace. These two gals that are training with you, who are they?
On the right, leaning up against the mace, that is my best friend, Jamie. best friend in the world there. She's awesome. And then to the other side is a good friend of mine I met through Tom. He worked with her for a bit, Sandy, and they rained out, so it was really, really wet, so we couldn't go to a park. And they said, "We still having class?" And I go, "Yeah, come to the garage."
Damn. You know,
Yeah.
I got my start training in the garage. How neat. But as we're watching this, I can't take my eyes off of your right knee.
Yeah.
Like you're fucking doing it.
That's
And
like 3 months. That's like 3 months after walking. Yeah, I think something like that.
you know, and I started getting into this, and it really has to do with my coaches. There's a lot of really good people out there who can move the mace. There's a ton of them, and I take this with a grain of salt. I don't care. I don't care how good anybody is with the mace anymore. I care with what they do with that skill. And so here's Kelley, and she has a mission, and she's going to get herself right. But in the same time, she realizes, hey, I have this gift. I am a coach, and this mace practice, whether I was actually doing it or just thinking about it, it gave me something positive in my life when I was going through a tough time. You sound a lot like your coach. And then with that gift, after you did some work on yourself, and yeah, there's still scars and there's still stories and there's still evidence of it. But being able to share that, uh, it has really helped out a lot of people, Kelley. And I don't know if you know it. This last Saturday before, I was teaching in Dallas. I got to teach to a couple people. I was doing an appearance. It's my first appearance. I'm just supposed to show up and say hi to people. And I'm wondering if anybody's going to show up. And sure enough, people show up, fans, supporters. This guy, Jim, shows up. Jim Bob, Dr. Jim Bob. He's like, Leo, I wanted to meet you. I brought my friends. They're going to take your class. I said, Jim, you going to take the class? He's like, no, man, I got the knee. I said, what's going on with the knee? Oh, man, fractured my tibia. I got plates. I got screws. I got titanium all up my leg. I was like, oh, good, oh, great. You fit right in. And he's like, what are you talking about? I said, oh, Kelley Flows. You know who KO Flows is? No. All right. He goes, yeah, I know Kelley. He's like, she's got rods in her leg too. And she's still doing the thing. And he just kind of looked at me confused for a second, and it became reality. And fucking Dr. Jim Bob took his shoes off and he went out and he took class. So you were an inspiration. You're one of my inspirations. Kelley, I've not had an injury like that to come over or to overcome. I don't know anybody in the steel mace community who has. And, I really appreciate you opening up and, talking about this. Kelley, I think your mace work's better than it's ever been. Maybe your mace work is like where it was when you left off. Maybe it's a little better on some days. Maybe it's a little worse. I happen to think it's a lot better. But you do have a full class you teach on Saturdays. That's the magical thing about the mace, not the 360 drop in from Dragon Punch that switch directions, but what you can do with it. Now you've gave Tom a job, I believe. The guy who introduced you to the mace, he ended up being your backup coach.
Yeah, assistant to the backup. He is assistant to the coach. Yes.
He's the assistant. I'm kind of poking the bear with that one. I saw this beautiful picture of your first full class, and there was just this. You can't miss Tom. He's huge. But there's this guy, and you just see this big smiling face, and he was looking at you, in very, very proud, very hard to describe way. You can't describe that look with words, right?
Right.
But you continue to sell out classes. You're teaching, like I said, on Saturdays at a gym, and you're doing that after working 40 hours.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we do Wednesdays and Saturdays actually. So
Oh,
We
2 days.
we do Wednesdays at 6:30 and then Saturdays at 9 a.m. We've been doing that for the past few weeks, and we do have a full class every both days. So I've got people who I've brought to that gym, and then I've got members of the gym that come. And we're forming a nice little steel mace program for the gym, so that it's kind of an exclusive little add-on. It's really cool. We're making it its own thing. They just know the value of Tom and I, and they're like, we love this. It matches up with our clients' goals, and we think it's an awesome thing. Let's do it. And Tom's digging it too, and he's just like, hey, can you coach me, 1 day a week as well? And I'm like, yeah, sure. So coaching with Tom on Mondays, and then Tuesdays I try to go to a class myself that isn't mine, just for education. Wednesdays is our class. Thursdays I try to meet with Ben, because I meet with him weekly. And then I want to do my own practice, and then I've got Saturday class. So but it's all stuff I just really want to do. And it's so cool how it came up. I was just doing a class in the park, and a girl hit me up, Lachey. She's absolutely wonderful. She hit me up on Instagram, and she goes, hey, how do I go to your class? And I go, just like that. It's at this park at this time. Come on by. And she showed up, and at that class, at the end of that class, it was a beautiful day, and we had the most people that had ever come. And she goes, you have to come to our gym. This has to be something at the gym. You have to come talk to them, both of you. And I'm like, yeah, especially in the winter. That sounds great.
Yeah.
So then we just started doing it there, and it's a beautiful studio with an awesome, it's got a mirror, which I really love, for people to be able to see themselves. And air conditioning. It's awesome. It's a wonderful space, and we're really lucky and excited to be a part of that community, and to grow our own community as well. It's awesome.
The effect that you guys are having over there, because I follow their Instagram.
Mm-hmm.
There's people goofing off, swinging mace when you guys aren't there.
Yeah.
I believe one of the, I don't know if he's the owner. I think he's the owner, but he just posted a video, maybe swinging a heavy mace, or maybe he was one of the.
Oh, that's Taylor. He was in the Strong Coach program with Ben, and he moved here from Florida, and he wanted to take my class. Yeah, and he stayed over after. That was after class. People stay after class.
It's crazy, right?
An hour, for another hour.
It's so cool and insane.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll teach a 12-hour certification, and there's people still there after this crazy test, like, hey, how do you do that thing? How do you do this thing? We've gone over quite a bit of your mace career. You started out when you first learned about the mace, and you came home to some big packages, and you saw Tom doing something pretty. How funny. Big manly man doing something pretty. It made you curious. You decided you jump in. You said, I didn't know what I was getting myself into. Well, now that we've kind of been through the story, what the fuck did you get yourself into?
Something so beautiful and healing, and it's so much more than movement. It has become a lifestyle, where it's something I want to do. It's something I daydream about. It's something I think about all the time. And it really has just given me a positive transformation. And it's helped me and Tom's relationship grow together as well. And we're able to work together in ways we haven't before. It really is healing. I just 110% do not believe that I would be where I am, moving around the way that I would be, if I didn't have this tool during that horrible time in my life. I wanted to move. And it was because of this. So I made sure that I could, and there was no doubt in my mind that I wouldn't again. And the community, like I said, and that's why I want to try to build a community here as well. Cause I am the Steel Mace School coach at Colorado. and
Yeah, you
it's,
are.
yeah. So I want to make the community here. I kept telling Tom, I'm like, I want to be surrounded by like-minded people. I want to take my little community out of Instagram and have them come hang out with me all the time in Denver, because it is so positive and motivating. There's so many times where I'll look at my Instagram and not sit and look at it. I'll get up and I'll grab my mace and I'll start moving, because that's the kind of energy. That's all my Instagram is just steel mace. I just completely transformed it into steel mace movement or unconventional movement, and that's all it is, and that's all. It's just so cool, and the people in it. I mean, Ben and Zach and Jamie, and Serena. Serena's just the coolest. I just can't wait to hang out with you guys both in September. You guys
Oh
are
my
all,
God. We're going
yeah,
to in September.
next month.
I'm going to be practicing my hugs so
Oh yeah,
hard. I'm going
oh
to be
yeah.
doing butterfly machines. You guys are never going to get out of these.
No,
And
no, I
so
can't
we'll
wait.
we'll ask you. We're almost headed out, but I just wanted to ask a couple questions before we leave. Some of them kind of trivial, but then we'll close with something a little bit more in depth. And so, when was no no no? Do you have a mace that you have named? And if so, what is it?
Yeah, so my first mace is named Acciaio, which is Italian for steel. Um, it's, as you can tell, I'm Italian. It's very obvious. No, my dad's comes from an Italian background, so you can't really tell with the red hair and
No.
anything. But yeah, so I named it Acciaio, and I still have just a wonderful connection with that mace. That was the mace that brought everything to me, and it heals me, and it holds my pain for me. I love that thing. You can just tell the difference when you hold it, even though they're all made the same. I can tell which one's mine.
They're different.
They're
A
different.
child. I need to meet a child officially.
Yeah.
Meet. And then, can you please name three of your favorite steel mace artists? Now, listen, I've come up with. Hey, you don't want to leave anybody out, right? You want to say all the right people, but
Right.
who are your three current favorite? You can leave me out of this.
Okay. I'll leave you out of
You're
this.
like, I wasn't going to say you anyways,
I
though.
wasn't gonna say you would. No, I was, but I think the most recently, Zach Frankenlegs. It's just always something different with him, which I think is so cool, and it's very. You can just tell it's his style, his movement, and he always tries new things and has a beautiful input on the mace, and he's pretty mesmerizing, and I love watching Zach. And he really helped me get through a lot of healing during my accident, and so I've just always been very drawn to his energy. And then second, I could watch Heartbeats move for hours on end, because and I try not to actually, and he does something different every time he moves the maze. It's something different, and it's so effortless and flawless. And I mean, there's flaws in there, but they're his, and you can't even tell. It's so him, and he's such a goofy, fun, and even being able to be in class with him, I know what kind of guy he is, and it's just so fun to watch him flow, because it's so unique, and he just comes up with stuff out of the air. It's awesome.
He's a giant. So when you say he makes things look effortless, it's because he's a giant. I mean, he's
He's a
and yeah,
yeah.
that he's like a young, goofy, he's like my little giant brother. I just talked to him the other day. All right, let's get that last one out. Who's the third?
The last one, as far as a mace artist, I would have to say probably Jimmy Pinto, because, and just even the way he coaches, when he puts videos on with him coaching others too, I just feel myself in his class. I can really take instruction. I can't even like hear him give instruction, and sometimes you can, and it is audible, and I'm just able to connect with that so well. And then of course his stuff is so trippy and mesmerizing. I super dig his style, and he's probably just the most open and loving guy, so easily, without even having met any of these people. They're incredible, and they just they hold a lot of value. They're awesome. And then Tom's great too. I always forget to mention Tom, but Tom's really great too.
Tom,
I'm proud of him.
Shorter shorts, man. That's what you want to do. All right. Yeah. You named all the three people you named. They have superhero names. The Alchemist. Heartbeat. His name is Herbert, but call him Heartbeat. And Frankenlegs. Zach. But all superhero names. You got a superhero name. I got a superhero name. We're using our Instagram to help make the world better. We're out there teaching Mason in the park for free. I think we're superhero worthy. And then our last question, and you can answer this better than anybody. You know, I just made a point to say I don't know of anybody in our steel mace community or in the steel mace community who has overcome the type of adversity that you have overcome, you know, the injury. And so I know there's somebody out there right now who's looking for healing. And maybe they joined the Steel Mace Flow cult because it's a cult. Not because they wanted to get big and buff and strong, but maybe because they wanted to heal. There are so many great examples of people like Adam Fleury, myself. Now, your stories out there. What words of advice or can you give that person out there?
I think the biggest thing is that it's temporary. And some words of wisdom I've gotten from mentors is you are exactly where you're supposed to be. And with time you will heal, but continue to stay positive. The power of positivity and asking for help and receiving help and never giving up, and don't even you just can't even acknowledge that you won't be able to do something. You get to do it. You know, you get to live through each day, you get to heal, you get to do these things, and you will get through it, through support, through a community of just amazing people. And just never give up, and just never give up on yourself, and believe in the badass that you are, because you are. So
those are good words. Good words to live by. It's just temporary. It's going to end, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's good advice. All right. Is there anything that you want to talk about or say before you get out of here?
You know, for anybody, I always wonder in the steel mace community about what people do for their day jobs sometimes, you know. So for people who have the day jobs of who work their 40-hour weeks, 40-plus-hour weeks, you know, just keep moving. I think that's one thing that I thought was really difficult until I found the mace, was to continue to move after a long day, and just do 5 minutes every single day, and you'll see improvement in a short amount of time. It really just trust the system, and just keep moving your body, and yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Keep moving.
Keep moving. It's great.
All right, Kelley. Thank you so much for doing this. This has been big for the whole mace community. I can't wait till everybody gets to hear your story. Guys, if you want to take a class from KO Flows and you're in Colorado, you can find her at
KO_flows.
Oh, no, the gym, but yeah.
Oh, Project Move.
Yeah. Just find Kelley at Project Move. And maybe you'll see her in a park, or maybe you'll see her teaching steel mace certifications in the future, because there's no stopping Kelley. If you haven't told by now, she's unstoppable. All right, the girl's titanium. You know what I'm talking about. Lots of love, Kelley. We'll see you around.